For business owners and investors, one of the best business entities they can make use of is the Limited Liability Company, or LLC. Hi, I'm attorney Michael Potter. I practice extensively in the area of business law and business entity formation. And for many years, since their inception into the United States, I've been one of the best promoters of LLCs. In today's segment, we're going to look more closely at how an LLC operates, who are the owners, and how it can function to help protect you and your business. One of the features that makes the LLC so useful is that it operates with the best of corporate law and partnership law. And you have a lot of flexibility in the area of tax planning so as to control and manage the size of your taxes. Now, since first being introduced into the United States through Montana, Wyoming, and Nevada, the LLC has been widely adopted. It's been adopted in various forms in all 50 states, even Louisiana. And in the states that have adopted the LLC law, many people just assume that all LLCs are the same, and that's not true. Some states offer much better protection than others, and that's where I recommend that you form your LLC regardless of where you want it to operate. You can certainly form your company and operate it in any of the 50 states. My law firm has formed LLCs for clients all over. What we have found, though, is that not all of the states have equal protection. That is, some states' LLC laws are far greater than other states in terms of the protection that they offer. And I'd recommend that you form in those states that offer you the most protection. As just one example, the state of Nevada was the first state to offer the protection of what is known as the sole remedy law. Now, what this does is to make the charging order the sole remedy for creditors who wish to try to make a claim against the limited liability company. In many states, a creditor against a particular member can go in and just seize assets, effectively shutting down the LLC. But Nevada was the first state to adopt the charging order remedy as the sole remedy at law. That is a way to severely restrict the creditor from coming in and just seizing assets. Under the sole remedy law, they have to go back to court where they got a judgment against an individual member, and they have to come back to the court and ask for a writ of charging order. That charging order only allows them to wait until a distribution is made to that particular member. That way, you protect the other members from financial hardship due to the difficulties of the one member who had a problem. It's a great way to protect all members of the LLC or against a limited partnership as well. It's a great remedy. I'm really glad that Nevada was the first state to adopt it. Now, LLCs are owned by its members, and the members operate much like do partners. They appoint a manager who runs the day-to-day operations, whether that's a committee of managers or a single person acting as a manager. Now let's open your LLC binder and look at it. You'll see two sides, a left-hand side and a right-hand side. Let's look first at the left-hand side. If my office has formed your limited liability company through our registered agent arm, on the left-hand side, right up front, you're going to see a bold lettered piece of paper that says, read this first. That is a set of instructions that will help you in terms of what you need to get filed in a timely fashion, because there are some items on the left-hand side that need to be dealt with quickly before a certain deadline by the Secretary of State. If you don't meet that deadline, there are late fees that could apply. So read this first, go through that, and you'll see what you need to do. Just behind that, you should see the first filing of the list of managers. There you're going to list the managers of your LLC. Now, in most circumstances, it's going to be one person, maybe two. There are some LLCs that have more than one, and if that's the case, list the names of the managers, and at the bottom of that form, sign it, comma, manager. Now, any one of the managers can sign it. We need that back so we can get it filed in a timely manner with the Secretary of State. There are a couple of other forms in the back on the left-hand side that you'll need to pay attention to in a timely fashion. One of these is the IRS Form 8832, which is the tax election for your LLC. It tells the Internal Revenue Service how you wish to be taxed. And by checking the appropriate box and choosing the appropriate tax status for your company, we can get that filed in a timely fashion. The other thing that's back there is the IRS form that allows you to apply for an EIN, Employer Identification Number. It's known as the SS4. Now, actually, you can file for that online by going to www.irs.gov. And on the right-hand side of the IRS homepage, you'll see a place that says Tools, T-O-O-L-S, Tools. Underneath that column, one of the first things you'll see is Apply Online for an EIN. You can go right on there and follow through their online guidance. And in just a couple of minutes, you'll finish up and it will issue you a taxpayer ID number for your company. Now, your EIN, or taxpayer identification number, is similar to the Social Security number or taxpayer ID that you have as an individual. This allows the IRS to track your company to make sure it has filed its annual tax return and is in proper compliance. It only takes a couple of minutes, but you can have the EIN by applying for it online. Once you get it, be sure and write that down on the SS4 form. The reason that's so important, you're going to need that taxpayer ID number to open a company bank account and to do your annual filings with the IRS. Now, at some point when you're applying for your EIN, or taxpayer identification number, it's going to ask you when the company was formed. In that case, look over on the right-hand side of your binder. Under the first tab, you're going to see your Articles of Organization. Those are the formation and registration articles with the Secretary of State, and the date on the Articles of Organization are the official date, the charter date, if you will, of the formation of your company. Now, every LLC should have an operating agreement. The operating agreement functions much like a constitution. It sets forth the rules and parameters of how the membership interests are best protected, what the manager should do, what the role is of the various players, how ownership interests might be transferred from one member to another or even an outsider. It sets forth the rules on how to handle various circumstances, how often the members should meet, and what the guidelines will be for the day-to-day operations of the business. Now you'll see a series of tabs on the right-hand side. Obviously on that first tab, above it is sort of a list of contents, and then behind that first tab is your Articles of Organization. And then the second tab should be your Operating Agreement. This is the constitution of the company. Behind the operating agreement will be several other documents that can be useful to you. One of them is the first minutes or the first meeting of the members. When you open that tab, you're going to see a listing of various resolutions and memorandums of adoption that your LLC can adopt during its initial meeting to kind of set things up and get the ball rolling. You'll need to go through that and sign that with the appropriate members' signatures and the manager's signature where appropriate, and just fill in the date. Another tab you're going to see on the right-hand side is the Register of Members. It looks somewhat like a checking account register that you have in your checkbook where you list all of your checks as you write them. On that Register of Members, you're going to write in an alphabetical listing of all of the members of your company, even if it's just you as the only member. Put them in there by alphabetical listing and show the date that they became a member of the company. Next will come the certificates of membership. These operate and look a lot like shareholder certificates for corporations. This is the formal document that will recognize membership in the LLC. So what you would do is the registration would be filled out, the certificate would be filled out indicating who the member is and what percentage of ownership they have of the company. It would be signed and dated by the manager, and then that indicates that that person or entity is a member of your LLC. Finally, you've got a tab or two at the end that will hold miscellaneous types of documents, such as a manager's employment agreement, memorandums of decisions that have been made by your members or your managers, indicating the choices that your company has made. You will use this over the years as a place to put in those important documents in your company binder. Well, that pretty much wraps up this walkthrough of your limited liability company. I'm sure you may have a few questions, but before you call, look through the instructions on the left-hand side in that pocket of your binder that says read this first. Try to comply with all of that. And then if you still have questions, feel free to either call the office or write us at our email address, and we'll be glad to answer your questions at any time. I'm attorney Michael Potter, and I look forward to hearing from you.